Yes, that's right. What's going on? We are back. We are back. Yes.
This is incredible. It's like when they bring out the fajita in the Mexican
Yes,
restaurant.
it's just like when they bring out the... I'm so excited to be... First, we are live here at Caroline's on Broadway. There's a bunch of people in cubicles right now. Let them know you're here. Okay. All right. First off, I'm just so excited, Stephen, because Nicole is wrong.
Yeah.
Take that, Nicole Stradamus. You're nothing. Yeah. Take that.
Yeah, it's like the first time in like 4 seasons, right?
So I don't have to go home tonight and hear, I know so much more than you do. My picks always win.
Yeah.
Debbie, sad to see her go.
Yeah.
Very sad.
Huge character. Very sad. Yeah.
Yes, but can you believe it? What an episode tonight, though.
What a crazy episode. So much happened, and all of it was bad. Like, there was so much bad strategy tonight, and it's really exciting to talk about it.
You know what? But I feel like, and I think this is going to be a fun conversation, because I feel like that everybody at Tribal Council acted in their best move.
Wow, I could not disagree with you more.
Okay, good.
Amazing.
Good.
Are we even watching the same show?
Sometimes not.
Yeah.
I think that everybody did the right move tonight.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe not Debbie. Not Debbie.
Yeah.
Maybe not Joe.
And Aubrey? You don't think Aubrey did the right move?
I do.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
No.
I think so.
It's just not possible.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think she made the best out of bad circumstances.
All right, we're going to have to talk about this because you're wrong, and we're just going to have to walk through it.
Well, great. That's why we're here with microphones ready to go. I got a lot of our friends are here tonight. We're going to hear from a lot of people.
Yeah, okay.
We got questions coming in and everything going on. So, all right. So, Stephen, first off, welcome back to the Know-It-Alls live stage here in New York.
I'm to clear up any question. I'm not on Percocet tonight, so I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What a big hit last week's episode was when you were on painkillers for you. How is your foot doing?
It's fine.
Full recovery?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So with this episode tonight, so many different things going on. For Debbie, did you feel like did she make a major error in your mind, or was it just that circumstances just worked against her?
I mean, I think the question of what Debbie was doing and whether or not she was right also plays into the question of, like, what Aubrey was doing and whether she was right, right? Because Debbie's plan, so it was, let's just stick to the plan. Let's keep our group. Let's keep our line strong. Let's stay strong together. We have a majority right now. We have an overwhelming majority, regardless, maybe Julia's in the middle of that. Maybe she's not. Why don't we flush the idol, double up the votes, get one of these guys out. At the worst, we flush the idol out. That's the right move. But
in what they were going to do, that they had the super idol, and
right.
it wouldn't have mattered what they did.
But if they had split, right? So I mean, you've got a 6-3 majority now, right? Although we don't know where Julia sits. But if you split the votes, right, with the 6-3, you're putting 3 on one, 3 on another. Best case scenario, you're getting rid of one and you're flushing the super idol out. If Julia's not with you, right, you're still flushing the super idol. You're losing a person from your alliance. It's Sydney. Great, you lose Sydney.
Fishback, you're living in a dream world. Julia wasn't going with the plan.
But then you force her.
Right.
Then you force Julia to take a side, so you know where Julia is. And, well, you're right, but then they know where she is definitively.
Don't answer back to people in the audience.
So then you know where Julia is, and you flush the super idol. Look at where they are right now. Now they're dependent on Julia, who was the whole problem. The whole episode was that they couldn't trust her. Now they're totally in bed with her. They've lost Debbie, who's a loyal ally, and the super idol's still out there. They're in a much worse position at the end of the episode than they were at the start of the episode.
I think go back a week for Sydney. I think that she got herself in this mess because of that move she made last week.
I mean, yeah.
And now,
you were right about that. Fine.
yeah, that was.
That's old news.
Yeah, I mean, she went away from the guys that she was working with last week into something which was not safe. She was not on sure footing this week, and then sure enough, Julia is going to defect. And now I felt like that Sydney had to make the best out of a bad situation. And this was, I don't want to lose too many people with sports analogies. I felt like that this was like they had to punt this week.
Yeah.
It was, they had, this was like, all right, well, it's 4th and long, so we don't really have a move here. Let's just punt and fight another day. Let's go down somebody from our own alliance.
If you're trying to win the argument by confusing me, you're succeeding.
I guess so.
No, but so obviously for Sydney, this is the right move, right? Because Sydney would have gone home.
Right.
But for Aubrey, it's not the right move.
Well, what would the right move have been for Aubrey?
I think the right move is to stick to the plan. I think the right move is to stick with Debbie and Joe, split the votes. Worst case scenario for Aubrey, the super idol gets flushed, and Sydney goes home, which is great for Aubrey. Sydney's a bigger threat to Aubrey than Debbie is. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
You guys like that? Some of you like that? Stop. You don't have a microphone. You don't have a microphone. You can't hear you.
Well, God, it's even worse with just a microphone.
Yeah. All right. So yeah.
I mean, better.
Okay. Again. Side conversations. It doesn't play on the audio version. Okay. All right, so with this move, I have to say, let's talk about specifically what Jason and Scott and ultimately Ty. How about Ty with the heel turn, as I heard Alex Kidwell say? Do you guys still like Ty? Yeah. Okay. He's bulletproof.
Yeah, I told Ty is bulletproof. Yeah.
He's bulletproof.
He had about 6 confessionals this episode, like excusing himself. Like this was like the Ty apology episode.
You think Ty gets through this scot-free? Nobody is.
Well, he's with Scott.
Yeah. But you think that tomorrow, like the Survivor Facebook page isn't like, I really hate Ty now.
There's probably, who knows what the Facebook page is a mess. Like who knows what they're doing?
How dare you, Steven? But now, for Jason and Scott, this whole idea of chaos, we're going to hide the machete, we're going to hide the axe. Would you say that when we add it all up, was that effective?
I mean, I think it was effective. It worked. I mean, yes, they ruined their games, but the short term, it worked, right? Like, the thing that they wanted to happen, which was that the other alliance would like somehow turn on each other, was exactly what happened. Debbie became fixated on the idea of getting them out. Aubrey didn't want that, right? Would you agree with that?
Well, I don't know. Are you just being results biased here in terms of that the alliance did turn on each other? Was it because that they put out the fire, they hid the machete, they hid the axe? It seems to me that doing that sort of united them more together. I don't think Julia was like, boy, if I don't join up with Scott and Jason, we'll never have another machete again. We'll never open any coconuts.
But it did radicalize Debbie. I mean, I agree there was a much better path to take. It seemed like last week's vote, at least from what the story we were told, was like a one-off. And they easily could have come back to camp and been like, yeah, glad we got rid of Nick. Like, let's move forward. Let's fix things. But they took the opposite path. But they're still in a better position now than they were at the start. Now, could they win the game? That's the question, right? Like, does this ruin their chances to win the game? But you have to make it to the end to win at the end. And like, start counting jury votes. Like, is Nick going to care? No. Like, Neil, who knows what Neil's going to do? Jason could vote for Scott. Scott could vote for Jason. Like, one of them still could win.
And with this super idol, I think we learned a lot about how you have to use it based on how they acted tonight. Because you get the feeling like they had a conversation with producers about like, okay, how do we play the super idol? Yeah. And it feels like based on what we saw that the answer was, okay, a player who's not voted out of the game needs to present the idol. Yeah. Because that Jason and Scott were very intentional of, we're going to give the idol to Ty before the votes were read. Did you get that? Have that same takeaway that you felt like that, say hypothetically Jason was voted out of the game, he can't stand up and say, all right, I want to use my half of the idol here, and then the other guy and somebody else gives him another half of the idol?
The combining thing was weird. Like,
why give it to Ty? Why does Ty have to say, I accept this idol?
Right.
Like it was The Bachelor. The worst Bachelor ever. The Scott Pollard season of The Bachelor.
If it's not mandated that they have the Super Idol together before the votes are read, then it's a terrible decision for them to give it to Ty first, right? Because like Ty now has a Super Idol. He doesn't have any obligation to Jason.
Right.
Scott.
Does Ty have two idols at the start of the episode? Is it sort of like back in Heroes versus Villains where Russell gave an idol to Parvati and she just like held on to it?
Yeah.
And so now Ty is just going to move forward through the game with two idols?
Yeah. I mean, I think that the question is like, will he give it? I mean, maybe Jason will ask for his half back. Maybe he won't, right? Like, if it wasn't mandatory, then it was a terrible decision. But you're right. Maybe it was mandatory.
Yeah. Is it like sort of like a finders keepers type thing where it's like, yeah, I don't have to give it back to you.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no question that like he publicly gave it to, he couldn't have made more of a ceremony.
Right.
Yeah.
It was very much in public.
It was like blessed by Jeff Probst.
What was going to happen. But no, I really think that those guys are in a very tough spot because now moving on past this vote, I think that they've established if any of us in the three gets voted out of the game, we're going to use the Super Idol to save us. So now, each round, it's going to get harder. This was like the last time to flush the idol in the way of 3-3-3.
But that's right. So then, how can you think that Aubrey like made the right move if she missed her chance to flush it?
Because I think that Julia was gone at that point. You feel like that the five person alliance that it was down to the final 9. Again, we're doing this all on the fly here. Difficult to do in front of an audience also. But you feel like you think that with the 5 person that were left, like you don't feel like Michelle might have defected at that point, and like I just feel like it wasn't there, and she decided to go in a different direction.
Who Aubrey?
Aubrey,
yeah. I just think if you've got the numbers to split, and like well, obviously I've made that mistake myself. I've got the numbers to split.
Right.
Yeah. And you got to trust everyone.
And I'm all in on Aubrey now at this point. I think this is my horse here for the rest of the way. I'm all in on Aubrey.
Oh, really? This was the episode where I thought she's not winning.
You're out on Aubrey.
I'm out on Aubrey, yeah. Last episode I was like, oh, this is the Aubrey story. But like this episode, there's a few random, I feel like she's getting the fish back edit, which is like,
Fish back edit?
Yeah.
You never want the fish back edit.
No, but like, is this exactly what happened to me? Where I was like, middle of last season, I was like, suddenly I was everywhere. I was a hot mess, but I was a strategic hot mess. And that's what she is. She's the strategic hot mess.
Strategic hot mess. I mean, I thought she had a good plan. I thought that she was the one that was saying of like, hey, Julia is not with us. She was the one that really sniffed that out.
Right.
She wanted to vote out Julia at this vote, that Julia won immunity. Is that like the Joe thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So then Julia won immunity, like ruined her plan, and then she was sort of driving that. Hey, let's get rid of Debbie.
Right. But then like to say like, oh, Julia's the one we can't trust, but let's put all of our eggs in that basket. Like that's insane.
But here's what I like about it was that Julia was gone. Julia was voting with other people, even though this wasn't the best plan possible. She still got Julia to buy into a plan that somewhat, in some way, benefited them, as opposed to a plan that benefited Scott.
I think they got her to buy into a plan that didn't benefit them and that did benefit Scott. Versus, like, we never saw her actually draw the line in the sand on which side of the aisle she would.
See, I feel like that Aubrey, her new best ally in the game is Sydney. I wonder if maybe Aubrey and Sydney are the new power couple in the game.
Yeah.
And now that what Aubrey did was she saved Sydney's life in the game.
It's terrible to be in a power couple.
Well, for JT wouldn't say that,
right?
So there's like it's good for one person, sometimes.
Right. I actually totally buy that. Yeah. I think I can see like the Sydney Aubrey being the
Yeah, and
the Jeremy Stephen of the
Yeah, is that how it works?
Yeah.
So I really do feel like I like this for Aubrey that she's able, that she didn't love Debbie. She has the Joe thing. Joe is still there. Now, what I'm worried about is Joe going to potentially go and work with the guys now? Have we really forced the men versus women? What that they didn't tell? Don't boo me.
This is why doing it from home.
I'm not Jason. So all right. Hear me out, Eliza. Okay. So, all right. You're talking. All right. So we had this men versus women thing. Joe was the only guy who was voting with the women.
Yeah.
Now, what do the women do? They come up with a plan and don't tell Joe the plan, or they told him the plan. He said no. They did it anyway. They vote out his closest ally. Where does Joe feel more comfortable now?
But this is the second time they've done that to him too. Aubrey blindsided him before with a vote switch.
Yeah. The one thing I really didn't like from Aubrey tonight is that when they're talking about this plan with Sydney, should we vote out Debbie? Should we vote out Miss Debbie? And she's like, well, I think that Joe might be up for that. Why? Why would you say that? He wasn't up for voting out Peter.
Yeah.
And he hated Peter. I didn't think that was a good idea. Like, I was just like, boy, I think it's going to be a tough sell to Joe.
Yeah.
So you left him out hanging this week. And now I wonder, does he say maybe I should? Maybe it is men versus women. Now it's going to be going into this next episode 4 women and 4 men left.
But he seemed like the most morally outraged. Like he was really, really upset by that. And I do think there's a level where people will get angry at sabotage of camp life in a way that they're not going to get upset about sabotage in the game. Like it really is personal. Like like last season, there was no way Abby was going to win just because she ruined our lives on a day-to-day basis. Just with her scowl. So actually dousing the fire is, there's no way you can.
Yeah. In terms of all of that happening, so you feel like that there's no way that Joe is going to flip. What about for Julia? Do you like the way that she played tonight? Because I think that she went from somebody who was more in the shadows in the game to somebody. I mean, you see them clapping for Julia? Yeah. So Julia it really became a power player. Do you feel like that she is somebody that could potentially win now? The audience says no.
The audience says yes and no.
Yeah.
I mean, she's definitely given that she's 19 years old, I mean, she's got to be the hardest playing 19-year-old we've ever seen. She's doing a great job. The fact that she came back from Braun Island a few weeks ago, she was all alone. She's voted with the majority every single vote. And the fact that she's in everybody's ear, I think it's great. Now, the fact that she's obviously that Ty has got to take care of his chicken excuse is the worst excuse in the history of Survivor. But, she's playing a good, obvious game.
So do you think that she will move forward? Do you feel good about this new 4-person women's alliance being something that can hold and move forward? Is it 4 women plus Joe? Do you think that this will now be the dominant group?
Well, what would you do if there was someone in the middle? What did you do when there was someone in the middle between
I was the person in the middle.
No, but with, Christy.
Oh, vote out the person in the middle.
Right, yeah, exactly. You vote out the person in the middle.
But would that have behooved the group to take out Julia?
Yeah, that would have been the right move.
That would have been better, but she won immunity, and there's really nothing you can do.
You can't do
so
it.
once she wins immunity, and you have people who aren't willing to just try to flush the idol, knowing that there's a super idol, somebody in that group is going to go home. And to me, it was reminiscent of the Three Amigos tribal council.
Yes.
Where you have those 3 guys basically doing this sort of move where, here's what we're doing tonight. Tell me if you are on board with this. That in this era of Survivor, in 2016, if I stand up at tribal council and I say, I have an idol, I'm going to turn around. I'm going to throw it up in the air like a bridesmaid. That you wait until you see. Isn't that the biggest tip off that person?
Yes,
is
you're
a
not
bluff.
playing the idol.
This is a bluff. If anybody that's listening to this is going to play Survivor ever again, I don't know if that's possibly true, Stephen. That's a bluff.
Yeah.
Don't buy it. Don't bite on that.
Well, that's why in Caramoan they did it perfectly, right? That Three Amigos tribal council.
Who did it perfectly?
The
people
alliance.
not in the alliance.
Yes, they said, let's still vote for those 3 guys. That forces them to play their idols. Then Philip goes home. Who cares?
Right, and their big and their big mistake. And their big mistake is then saying to everybody, "We're voting for Philip." And everyone's like, "Great,
yeah, right,
perfect,
yeah.
That's perfect." And Mike did a better job with that. But, when he's doing that same sort of thing, I've got an idol, I'm giving it to Shireen,
right?
That same sort of thing, that's a bluff too. Were you buying that at all? Of Jason, we're gonna Rochambeau and we'll see what happens.
The thing is, in the moment, you have to be afraid of it, right? You can't not take them seriously.
Yeah. So then you feel like that if you were there or as a viewer, you felt you
I
were,
think in the moment, if you were there, you'd be like, your head is spinning. There's so much information coming at you, and you're malnourished. You're not thinking straight.
Is there any thought about putting the vote on Ty at that point?
Right.
Now they showed that he has an idol.
Right. The guy who says he's definitely playing it, you're saying he's definitely not playing it.
I mean, nobody played an idol. Everybody's bluffing.
Well,
at
I
this
think
point.
they definitely should. I mean, had they put it on Ty, right? Ty would have had to play the Super Idol. Sydney goes home. I mean, like, I'm all for that plan.
By the way, I talk a big game when I'm here. Like, I would be like the most scared at any tribal council. Like, I would never cast my vote on anybody with an idol.
Yeah.
I would be like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. He has an idol. What are you, crazy? But
theoretically, it's right. Someone like Jester. But now, whatever player is going to listen to that, they're going to do it, and then they're going to play it.
Good, and then I can say I did that.
Yeah.
Remember? Yeah. No, but it would really be like, hey, Rob, remember when you said that if anybody does that, then it's a bluff?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll just turn into
you're such an idiot.
Yeah, you're such an idiot. You don't know anything. Nicole's smarter than you. So many different
What
things.
about the reward challenge? Do you think
Yeah.
that was the right move for Julia at that time?
Well, let's just talk about the reward challenge in whole. So Jeff says, hey, if you guys feel like it, you can make your own tribes for this challenge.
I love that.
You liked it.
I liked that Jeff doing that. Did you not like that?
I know, I liked it a lot. Should they do that more? Because we talk about every week, and that these reward challenges are so uninteresting in terms of like here. I like one person. I'm watching a game between 4 random people and another 4. Who are you rooting for?
Yeah.
Like, do you love Ty so much that you're like, oh, I want Ty's team to win? It's like but I hate that person, and he's also on there, so I don't want to spite the person that I don't like. So this is like, okay, are you team the women or are you team Jason and Scott? And then you have a rooting interest in that.
Yeah.
People seem like they were really into it, doing it that way. So I like that a lot. But for Joe,
I mean, there's still pick'ems though, right? That's how most of these things are chosen, is they do pick'ems. Like maybe they just need to make it clearer who the team captain is, and like.
Is there any way you could do that where it's sort of like, okay, a bunch of you stand on this mat, a bunch of you stand on that mat?
Well, but then all like the really fit athletic people would go together, right?
Yeah. I guess so. If they wanted to.
Yeah, they would want to, right?
I mean, isn't that what happened tonight?
Yeah, but I think, but just out of like spite.
All right. So then that Jeff says, okay, so we're going to let somebody sit out, and then they get to pick. Joe volunteers for that spot. Did you like that move?
The volunteer, yeah. Like the choice of teams, no.
Okay. I like that a lot. I think I would always rather just like, oh, I don't have to compete in this reward challenge. I can just bet on it.
Yeah.
I don't have to do anything. I could just bet which tribe is going to win.
You're getting heckled from the audience.
Okay. But I think I would much rather be a person who's betting on it. But yeah, then it did seem like it was out of principle. He picked the team. I feel like if you were going to sort of like have Vegas handicap who was going to win that challenge, I think that probably you would have said that the team with all the guys in Julia were the favorites.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So it seems like out of principle. He did that.
So we've seen like Jason Terrace, so we knew he was going to be good at braiding.
Yes. What do you think of the reward, Chinese food, Steven? Isn't Chinese food the worst Survivor reward there ever was? Yeah. Isn't the thing about Chinese food is that right after you eat it, you're hungry again in 30 minutes? Isn't that a terrible idea, Chinese food? And then Jeff is like, hey, here's something that you do when you're at home on Friday night. Well, I thought the reward was going to be Netflix and chill. Wow. Good. Boring Friday nights at Jeff Probst's house. Chinese food. But so then Julia says, okay, I picked me. Did you like what she did there, or it was too obvious? Debbie said, no, I thought you just wanted Chinese food. Aubrey, then Sydney, they both get their suspicions up.
I mean, it was definitely too obvious, right? She should have hemmed it on. That was her whole problem, was that she would just immediately move from group to group without any kind of subtlety.
Yeah. So I feel like that she really put herself into a bad spot, but she was able to, nobody really seemed, other than Aubrey, to be too concerned about it.
And Sydney.
The
people who were like deciding the vote.
I thought that we've talked so much about Michelle this season. Any Michelle fans here?
No, you're not.
Luke, I felt like a little tepid. That seemed tepid.
Yeah.
So For Michelle, I felt like that she was sort of, we didn't get a good take on where her head was at, because we've looked at Julia and Michelle, especially since the start of the merge, as that's a pair.
Right.
That's a pair. They're always working together. But it didn't seem like that Michelle really had any sort of flirtation with that. I wonder what Michelle's reaction might have been if Julia was the one who got blindsided tonight. Yeah. And then we were sitting together during the episode, and there was a very interesting conversation where it was Aubrey and Sydney said, "Hey, Michelle, the vote tonight is going to be for Debbie." Do you remember what she said?
Yeah, she was like, "I never thought this day would come."
Yeah.
Like, who? Why not? Yeah.
But what was
a predictable day? I don't know.
We didn't really get her take on it. Like, was she gung-ho about it? Was she, I mean, she did seem like in the episodes, like the last couple of votes, she was like, hey, I feel good about this women's alliance. We should do this. But we didn't really get a clear sort of picture from her on what she wanted to do.
Yeah, I really don't think we have a good sense of where Michelle's strategic head is at. She's against pouring water on the fire.
She does not like that.
Yeah.
Do not put her fire out.
Yeah.
So do you feel like, is this a good move for her? Does this benefit her or the events of tonight?
So do the events of tonight benefit her? I think it's bad. I think it benefits the opposing alliance, so I don't think it necessarily benefits her. I mean, the fact that no one is targeting her is probably good, right? She's in a clearly great position while everyone else is kind of taking each other out, but not really, right? I don't know. What do you think?
See, I kind of feel like that this four-woman alliance has more of a chance to stick than the five-person women's alliance, because I feel like that now you have sort of two pairs potentially. But I kind of feel like that the pair that's with Scott and Jason, the pair that's just Julia and I guess in proxy Michelle, like I kind of feel like that they might be in a better spot now than the Aubrey-Sydney pair.
Do you think Julia and Michelle are in a better spot than Aubrey?
I think that they are, because they have the option to go with Jason and Scott. That's off the table, I think, for Aubrey and Sydney. They have the option to go back with Joe.
Yeah.
So they're sort of down 5-3 in the numbers potentially.
No, I agree with that. Yeah.
So I kind of feel like it's not.
And Sydney was the target tonight. I mean, Aubrey's the other ringleader. Like, if you're Jason, Scott, and Ty, like those are the people that you want to vote out.
Like, doesn't it make a lot of sense to be the people? If you're Jason and Scott, isn't that kind of who you're going after now at this point? Debbie's gone. Where else? You're not going after
you don't care
Ty.
about Joe. Yeah.
I mean, Julia is kind of with you.
Yeah.
I mean, it might make some sense to take out Michelle, so Julia is more with you.
Yeah, but who knows? I mean, that could alienate Michelle. I mean, and Michelle, like, why would you waste that vote? To like take, you have so few votes at this point. They're at the final 8. We think it's a final 3. I guess we don't know for sure. Do we?
We don't know.
Yeah. We're thinking it's a final 3. So you only have 5 votes.
I personally think it's a final 2, just based on the numbers that we're on the same sort of trajectory as Kaoh.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Okay.
Who knows?
But you still have a limited number of votes to get rid of your threats. Like, you want to spend those getting rid of threats.
Just off the top of your head, who's going home next week?
I think it could be Aubrey. I don't know. Sydney says
a lot going on.
What do you think?
Boy.
Or Jason. Yeah.
Do you think we have the Super Idol played next week?
I mean, what do you?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Why isn't this a more hype season?
These things. Okay. Yes or no things.
But another great episode. Really.
Fantastic episode.
Was this the best episode? I feel like we say it every week. Was this the best episode of the season?
Best episode, worst play of the season.
Yeah. Also, we saw so much whispering going on at Tribal Council.
Yeah, what's the deal with all the whispering?
There was a lot of whispering
if people are whispering, why are you not asking them, what are you whispering? If like your allies are whispering to each other, shouldn't you be like, hey,
what are you saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you're not saying that Jeff should be saying, what are you saying? You're saying the other people. Yeah. It's very interesting to me in terms of like who you're sitting next to, Stephen. Is it a huge disadvantage if you go to a tribal council in the modern day Survivor and you're not sitting next to your ally? I feel like that they typically stack you with the people that you're publicly aligned with, or am I making that up in my head?
No, I think that's right. I think they definitely like voted in blocks, or if there's one person who's like in the middle, like that person will be between the two alliances. It's Yeah, it definitely helps if you can like exchange eye contacts and maybe a drop word or two.
Yeah, so you can sort of like huddle up with your group, like, hold on, can we sidebar here for a minute? And but usually Jeff is like, hey, no sidebar, no sidebar. So I feel like he does blow that up more. Where it's not, it's like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it really did seem like everybody's like pairing off. It was like 7 minutes in heaven for everybody. Okay.
Well, it really looked like Debbie had her tongue in Joe's ear.
Whoa. Yeah. Also, very excited. Debbie exit interview coming on the podcast.
Oh, man.
Looking forward to that.
That's
for
a
sure.
great law. I mean, she's a great, original, wonderful character, and I'm sure we'll have her back again.
Seems like it. Seems
Yeah.
like it. All right. You want to talk to some of the people that are here?
Yeah. Well, let's bring out
You have any-
the Sydney to my Aubrey.
Yeah. Who is the Sydney to your Aubrey?
Well, it's Jeremy Collins.
Yes. Yes. Here he is. Give it up for the winner of Survivor Cambodia. All right, champ. What do you think of tonight?
All right, so if Sydney is the Jeremy to your
I just feel like she's the hot mess. Aubrey's the hot mess who's probably going out soon, and Sydney's like kind of got it all more together, and she's going all the way.
Sydney's gonna win it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sydney's gonna win it. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
You heard it first. If you link up with Fishback, you win. You know what I mean?
I want to make sure we're getting you on this.
All right.
Yeah. All right. But you're enjoying this season?
I love it. Last episode I didn't like too much, but
Yeah.
every other episode before that I liked, and this one was really good.
What was it about the last episode?
It just dragged along. It wasn't anything to it. The tribal council was pretty good, but other than that, I wasn't happy with it.
Wait, so good move or bad move this episode?
For who?
For, let's say, Aubrey. Is it right for her? Should she have stuck with Debbie, or is it right for her to vote out Debbie?
I mean, I think it works out. You know what I mean? I think it was a good move. Switching the vote and going after Debbie was fine. They flushed the idol. Now Ty has it.
Right.
Ty has a super idol. Get rid of Debbie. You're fine. You still have numbers. Ty is dangerous now. Isn't Ty Tony now?
Yeah.
Can't Ty just go all the way?
Yeah.
With none
Does
of
it make you
none of the
mad that
sets,
they
yeah.
put this rule in now that you have two idols? It's a super idol, and then they took it away when you had the super idols? When you had two idols?
That would have been nice, but it worked out.
You
didn't
could,
it?
yeah, you could have won with 20 votes. Yeah. You wouldn't have had to sweat as much. Who are you liking this season?
I like Ty. I like Sydney. I know this is going to bother a lot of people.
Yeah.
I like Jason.
Okay.
I do.
Can I say something about the all right, hold on. Eliza. Hold on. Being heckled. Okay. All right. Let me just say that I do find that I feel like many of the actual former survivors, present company excluded, I do feel like are not out on Jason the way that a lot of the fans are of the show. Okay, again, Eliza does not like him, but I do feel like that in talking with a lot of the other survivors over the course of the season, that people are not, totally against him like a lot of the fans are. What is it that you see in him that makes you feel like that you can appreciate some of the things he's doing?
I mean, his gameplay's up and down. I just like his character, just like Debbie. I liked Debbie because Debbie's character is crazy, and I like his character. He's doing some crazy things. He's doing some bad things. But I just like his character.
So what was your take on the sabotage? Were you into it or not into it?
All right, so I missed the sabotage. I came a little late.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually knew that.
You're sabotaging me right now.
Okay. But in general, in terms of they're hiding the machete, they're putting out the fires.
What happened with that? So they set the sabotage up so that everybody would come back to them because they're hungry and... Is that what it was?
They felt like if we make everybody uncomfortable, that's going to shake up this alliance of five that voted out Nick. How dare they vote out Nick at the last tribal council?
But it didn't work, though.
It does. I don't know necessarily if it had. I mean, it's sort of like the Russell Hantz manifesto in terms of if I make people uncomfortable, they will make moves that do not necessarily benefit them.
And then you go to the end and lose.
Right. Right. Whereas I kind of feel like that you're much more in the camp. If I make people feel comfortable, that's a better policy.
That's what I was trying to do, I want to play the nice guy, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You come to me, I have your back with it for anything, you know what I mean?
Right.
You come to me if you need anything, and I just got to keep going through the game. That's how I play.
No.
But you're great at building trust within your core group. I also think that Jason and Scott aren't terrible at building trust in their core group, right? With the way they interact with Ty, the way they were interacting with Julia. They're not bad to the people who are with them.
But their core group is just those two.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's a small core group.
They really like each other. Were you surprised that Scott, as a former athlete, was somebody who was taking the water and pouring it on the fire? Because to me, that does seem like he was a bad sportsmanship in that moment. It feels like that if you wouldn't imagine an NBA player like coming to Survivor and being like such a sore loser like that.
Did he pour the water on? I thought Ty did.
Well, no, he did it first.
He did it first.
Oh,
He
see, I
missed
missed it.
that.
See,
Yeah.
that's the
Then
part
Ty
I
did it.
missed.
Yeah.
All right.
Like I kind of see it. Okay, I get it from Jason's character, but I kind of feel like that the former NBA player coming in, like I almost feel like that in some ways I like it because he cared enough about the game to want to do it. Whereas I kind of feel like that a lot of people that might be a professional athlete might come to Survivor and be like, okay, I'm not going to win, I'm checked out. Or is that he's so competitive, that's why he does something like that?
I think when you go out there, you do things that are uncharacteristic. You just go crazy. You lose your mind out there.
Yeah.
So like that might have been just one of his moments.
Yeah, I'm with that. Like, you just go crazy. You do stupid things. Yeah. Do really stupid things.
Okay. Who's your winner pick?
Sydney.
Sydney.
Right
Okay.
now it's Sydney. After tonight, Sydney.
Okay.
Over Michelle. You don't like Michelle?
Who's Michelle?
Oh!
I don't want to be like that. She's not doing enough. You know what I mean?
Okay. Let's get somebody else up here with us also. Jeremy, you got a pick?
Let's go with Nat.
Okay.
Didn't even say it.
All right, we got how about another winner? How about the winner of Survivor San Juan del Sur
Wow.
and Miss Survivor 2015? Natalie, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Great to have you here. It's not Nadia, right?
No.
Okay, thank you. See, you did it to me once, and now every time you're like,
Yeah. I
boy
know.
who cried wolf. Okay, so what did you think about this move tonight?
Okay, so I also missed.
All right. Has anyone here seen the episode? Yeah.
You were
missed the
here
first time.
you were here for tribal council.
Yes, no, for tribal I was here. So I thought tribal was good. I think that I like that Julia switched and was like stuck with the girls. But like Jeremy was saying, I don't want it to become like a guys versus girls thing.
Yeah.
But my pick is Jason to win. I've liked him from the start.
Wow. See?
I know. And I was like embarrassed. I told you at the start that watching the Bronze Tribe, I was like, I would fit right in, but they're assholes. But, that's my style. So.
Would you sabotage the camp?
No, never.
Yeah.
I don't think I would.
Yeah. Back when Neil got Medevac out of the game, that Aubrey had a secret scene where she said,
Yeah, I
I
watched
feel
it.
like Natalie back in Survivor San Juan del Sur, after Jeremy got voted out of the game, now I have to move on without my number one ally. Do you see any of yourself in Aubrey?
In like a totally opposite way, but kind of now that she's got like a fire underneath her and she wants to fight, she's definitely more feisty now. And I think once Jeremy went out, it really did light a fire under me, because before I was kind of coasting and like letting Jeremy do like all my digging, like the idol digging and stuff for me. So after he was gone, I was like, fuck, I have to wake up and like in the middle of the night and look for idols. But I like that she's, I don't know if I should cuss, but so I'm like excited that she's like feisty now, and let's see where she goes. I think that she could go to final 3 or final 2.
Did you see any parallels to in your season at the time where you wanted to get John out of the game? There was a point where I think it was at final 7, and he won immunity, just like where Aubrey wants to get Julia out of the game. And you had to make a different move. You had to say, okay, I couldn't do what I wanted to do. I'm going to vote Alec out, right? I have this right?
Yes.
So that's. Do I have it wrong?
I don't know. I
Okay.
can't remember.
Audience, do I have it right? Is that right? Okay.
Was it?
Well, they're like, whatever. But do you feel like, could you talk a little bit about this idea of I can't make the move I want to make this round. Let me make another move, which isn't my first pick, but something that still benefits me in some small way.
Yeah, I think that was when, even when he didn't have immunity, I think I kept John one more vote because I didn't want it to become a balance of power where we wouldn't have the upper hand, and so I wanted him to be in my alliance one more vote so that we couldn't go to like I think it was at that time 4-4 or something, I don't know. So I think it's good to be patient, and I think that if you jump to votes when just out of your emotions, it can lead down like a path that's not going to be good for you in the long run.
What about Debbie? You gonna miss Debbie?
I'm going to miss Debbie. I liked her.
Yeah.
She's crazy, but I liked her. But on the voting out thing, it was so hard for me to not vote out John when I could have earlier, like even with telling him to play his idol, because Jeremy was sitting across from me, and all I kept thinking was like, oh my God, I want Jeremy to know I was not in on this blind side, and he thought I was, So all I wanted to do was like vote John out. I was like, I was Jeremy, just wait, it's coming, it's just not now.
See, why didn't you vote out Spencer? See, she had loyalty.
Sorry.
Natalie, last week when Ty was talking about the idol, were you having stick to the plan flashbacks?
Yes, I tweeted. I said Ty's told Keith in this tribal council. He was acting like Keith. It was crazy.
Jeremy, do you see that?
I did.
Not the tweet. Do you see that? That Ty is like Keith?
Ty opens his mouth a lot. But you know what? I think Joe's more like Keith.
Okay.
I think Joe's more like Keith. Keith really just was there. You know what I mean? And that's what Joe is. Joe's just there.
All right. I want to get some more people up here. So give it up for Jeremy. Jeremy, who else do you want to hear from?
Let's bring my arch nemesis up here.
Who's that?
Josh.
Josh. Oh my God. All right, Josh Canfield is here. Give it up for Josh. Natalie left too? You could stay. You can stay. You good?
Yeah.
All right, don't run out of here yet. We have more questions for you. All right. Here's Josh. Josh, how are you? All right. Now, Josh, you reacted when we were talking about Jeff blows up whispering at Tribal Council.
Yeah.
Could you speak to that?
Yeah, I think anytime someone on our season tried to even have a conversation with someone next to them, he would be like, hey, what was that? Wait, no, what was that? What was that? And you're like, it was a private conversation. And not for everyone, not for you.
Yeah.
So I usually feel like he blows things up, and I felt like tonight, all of a sudden, it was like he just let it happen. And I was like, what? I don't know.
It's like passing notes in class. Like, read that in front of everybody.
Yeah, read it in front of everyone.
So you thought he should have outed them?
I felt like he's done that in the past, and that's why I wanted him to.
But it was like legit whispering this time.
It was literally,
crazy.
they were doing this.
Yeah,
Like,
at least us were just like...
we were just like, yeah, she was like,
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
Josh, what's your take on the move tonight for the women, for Aubrey and Sydney?
I think it was a mistake. I don't know, because I really like Aubrey. I like Sydney. I like Sydney. I'm not a huge fan of Aubrey.
Sydney was getting voted out if they don't make that move. So you have to like it for Sydney.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, but we don't really know everything. That's what we saw.
That's what we think.
That's what we saw. I don't know. I just feel like I feel like it's put Jason and Scott in a more power position, and I'm not huge fans of them. So, sorry. I'm a fan of Ty. Yes.
Who would you rather play with, Jason or John Rocker?
John Rocker.
Wow.
I like John Rocker, actually. We get along really well.
We're all Team John Rocker now.
I'm on Team John Rocker.
Not
currently.
in New York.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
True.
I don't really watch baseball, so.
True. I don't either. I know how he is with me, and that's about it.
Okay. So who's your winner pick?
I'm going to say Sydney or Ty.
Sydney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Michelle? I'm just asking everyone.
I don't know. To be okay. My biggest thing right now is I don't feel like her edit's been very great.
Yeah.
The wrong thing to
Strike
say
the
this
first.
crowd.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just has been very blasé, and you kind of feel like
Blasé in it.
Yeah.
middle of the fence. I'm always like, yeah, Michelle.
But Steven, you're still on the Michelle's the winner.
I mean, when I try to enumerate winners, I've got like 4 of the remaining 8 people left. But
She's also from Jersey, and Jersey, we have a good, record on
Yeah.
Jersey.
She just gets all these random confessionals when you don't even need a confessional. There was Michelle will be commenting on like how much she likes the sky. Like okay, great.
That's true. I will give
All
you
right.
that. I'll give you that.
So let's get some more people
Well,
up
we
here.
got Survivor royalty in the house. We got to get him up here. We got
Okay.
Ethan Song.
All right.
Ethan, is it you've got an old school hat on? What is it? Is it easier for the kids these days?
Don't get me started.
Yeah, slide down. If that's okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I think you're supposed to go over there.
Okay. All right, so here's Ethan's on. Come on, really give it up for Ethan. Stop it.
And his hat says old school,
Yes.
which is pretty awesome.
Yes. Okay.
I have no idea what's going on in the show. When I played,
Yes.
both ways uphill to tribal council.
Yes.
In the snow.
So you've heard they're idols, right? You following the idols thing?
Following the idols.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ethan, what do you think of 2 hidden immunity idols equals 1 super idol now?
I think it's pretty cool. I don't really still understand how it works, but I think you will have
We
an
don't
advantage
either.
in the game if you have the super idol.
So, in terms, I know that you said that
Can
you're.
Ty give the super idol to someone else, or he has to keep it?
No, I think he can.
So he has
Yeah.
sole, like,
Well, you're not on a mic. You're not on a
so
microphone.
he has sole power over the vote now on the whole super idol?
It seems like it, unless he gives it to somebody else, or he gives the
Why
idol.
would he?
Yeah. Will he give the idol back to Jason next week? I think that's really the operative question. What's he
I
going to
hope
do with
not.
it?
I think he's going to keep it. He should keep it.
Yes. He should keep it.
And he should say, I'm going to give it back to you. And when he has to give it back to him, he says, sorry.
Yes.
Psych, just kidding?
Yeah. Game
Yeah.
over. Thanks for playing.
And then that's when Jason leans over and wrings Ty's neck right at Tribal Council. Is that why Jeff doesn't like this season? Because Ty gets murdered at Tribal Council? Jason's like, hey,
love that.
Ty, I'm going to need
So
that
real.
super idol right about now, buddy. Like, sorry, no can do. Yeah. Oh, man. Wow. Yeah. So that would be something. Could Jason hold the chicken hostage? Like, Ty.
Maybe the chicken wins.
Damn.
We don't know that, right? It's been a big character.
Wow. So Ethan, who do you like this season?
I like Aubrey.
Aubrey. See?
I think she's smart. She's got some clever interviews. I think she's a little bit under the radar right now. She's going to spike in a minute. I think
Yeah.
she's good.
Have the guys been a major turnoff for you more so than usual this season?
I mean, I enjoy watching them.
Yes.
I like Ty. I like Scott. I like their little dynamic together. I think it's fun. I think it's a fun season to watch.
Yeah.
I think right now is really fun. Hanging
Yeah.
out with all you guys and all you guys is really fun.
Yes. Yes.
Congratulations on filling this place, Rong.
Yeah.
First of all, it's pretty impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, and very excited to have you here. It's a thrill for a lot of people here, myself included, to get you out here to one of these. All right. You want to get some more people up here? We got what, like 10 minutes left in 10 minutes left in the show? Let me get some of those questions up here also, Alex. All right. You want to get Eliza up here? All right. She talked more than we did tonight so far. But let's get her on a microphone so you can hear what she's saying at home.
I was a little afraid I was going to be banned from the mic after the last time, so I feel very honored to be here once again. Thank you, Rob. I'll try to keep curses to a minimum.
Okay, so that Eliza, just talking about that, we know how you feel about Jason. I don't know if we need to explore that too much more, right? Yeah. Those are questions. So what about the move tonight, though? But I mean, don't you feel like that the guys played themselves into a good spot here, where now you have to feel like if you are not in that alliance of three, that you are afraid to cast votes on them?
I think they played their super idol situation as well as anyone could have at Tribal Council. I loved the drama of it. It was like Parvati playing two idols. You know, it's always fun when that happens at Tribal. I mean, despite how much I detest them as human beings. I just think that they really did play that well. But the sabotage, I mean, I just found that to be idiotic. I mean, when this is a game of Survivor, you should know better than to just outwardly sabotage your tribe in such a way that
Hold on.
things are always flipping.
Is this because Twyla hid the bananas?
Yes.
That's the thing. Like Sandra,
I am still bitter about that.
Her
11
tribe.
years later. But Sandra didn't outwardly do it, and she let Krista take the fall for it. Right. So, you know, it's the difference between outwardly sabotaging and sabotaging when you're like, I'm on the bottom, so fuck these guys, and I'm just going to do all the things.
Hold on, but they didn't outwardly. I mean, Scott didn't announce that he. Oh, well, I guess they started out, but then they didn't get the reaction they wanted, and then they started pouring the. If everybody else would have gotten more mad about the first stuff they did.
Yeah, why didn't they just hide the saw? You know, I feel like all the problems would have been solved if they just hid the saw too.
Just hide the saw too. Yeah. Is the super idol too powerful?
Yes. Yes. Oh, and this is the exact problem with Cook Islands. I mean, remember Yule's idol, the Tyler Perry idol? I mean, everybody was so afraid to vote for him the entire freaking season that he won the whole thing. I mean, it's outrageous. Like, I don't like the super idol at all. I wish that it didn't exist.
Hold on. So, Josh, you don't like it either?
I'm not a fan of the super
idol
idol.
No, not a fan.
I feel like it gives too much power
it's
in
the
game.
Too much power.
And then it almost takes away some of the, intellectual play.
Then there's no strategy.
Steven, do you like it?
I know. I'm a fan of the super idol. I'm a dissenting opinion here.
I think I like it too. I think that maybe there's an argument to say maybe it's too powerful, but I think that we need to see somebody have, as the late Caleb Bankston once said, the kahunas to be able to split the vote on it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, the way that it's driving strategy of the season, I think justifies it. You know, the fact is, like, it takes two people, it takes two idols. It's not as simple as just finding one thing and then being invincible. So you've seen this alliance come together around the super idol, and then you see these people like basing their strategy on the super idol. I think the way that it's driving thought like validates it in and of itself. Like, it's forcing people to rethink how they play the game.
Because even with Tony, when he had the super idol, he was only protecting himself. It was like, look, you can't vote for me. I've got an idol. I got a bag of tricks. He wasn't saying, if you vote for Wu, I'm going to save him. If you vote for Trish, I'm going to save her. So you like Tony, Natalie? You like Tony? Tony, thumbs up? So
I think, yes, if you are Tony, it's right. Like, if you're playing Survivor and you have the super idol, yes, you want it.
But I think it's interesting that an alliance is leveraging it more so than just one person.
We'll see later on in the season,
exactly.
Right? Like, we're going to see how this
scenes for
plays
next
out.
week show that now Ty, if he flips, he has the super idol all to himself.
Absolutely.
I hope that that's what happens, because fuck you, Jason and Scott.
Okay.
Right. All right. Language. Still. Kids are still here.
Earmuffs, kids.
Yeah, earmuffs. Okay, there's kids here. If Jason wins Survivor, Eliza, will you stop watching the show?
No.
Eliza? No.
All
right.
I can't stop watching the show, Rob.
Okay. All right, Steven, we got questions here.
We get some good ones.
Okay. You got one?
Yeah, Nancy Greenshields wants to know, what would be the best way for the girls to flush the super idol without it coming back and getting one of them voted off? What's the best way to?
All right, so moving forward, okay, we move into a round of 8. We got a good think tank up here. What do the 5 people that are not in the alliance do to flush the Super Idol? And I'm not even sure if Julia necessarily wants to flush the Super Idol, but let's say for the sake of this conversation, she does. 5 people. What do you do with the votes next week? Anybody? We got a winner.
Well, I think what they're doing is they're trying to bring the Super Idol to their side rather than flushing it, because I think flushing it means almost sacrificing one of your own in your alliance. And you're like, okay, well, as long as it's not me. I mean, this week they could have flushed it, but they would have had to give up Sydney. And so I think that they're trying to pull the Super Idol to their side, which I think is almost smarter than trying to flush it, because it is a very, very hard thing to flush without getting one of your alliance members voted out.
Yeah. What do you think they overplayed? Should Jason and Ty not have shown their hand until after the vote was cast?
No, they had to do it. I think they had to do it the way they did it.
Yeah, that's the question. Like, is it rules or is it just were they just?
None of us had contracts. I mean, some survivors admit that they never read their contracts, which is idiotic. But there are rules very explicitly written out. And she won. I mean, obviously reading your contract means nothing, but I understand the rules that I played under, and Super Idols were not part of it, so it wasn't explicitly written out as to how they work, but I'm sure that the contestants on this season maybe know how they work.
Okay. Let me talk to a couple more people before we go on to can we say hi to you?
What's that?
Can we talk to you? Yeah.
Can't come up.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, that Liz's cousin. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Were you happy Debbie got voted off tonight? Okay, Liz's cousin says she loves Debbie. Okay, all right. Let's. We got a few more minutes left in the show. You want to talk to some more people? What do you want to do, Steven? No, Eric Stein. Eric Stein is going to be on the voicemails this week. We're going to talk to him then. All right. People want to hear from the great Billy Garcia.
Oh, my God.
All right, here he comes. The man, the myth, the legend, who seemed agitated before as if his game got screwed over by Yule and his Super Idol. He seemed like that was the problem. Yeah. Billy's still burnt up about that Super Idol.
Yeah. I think Debbie should have proclaimed her love for Joe, because she totally did stick her tongue in his ear.
One of the greats. Legend. All right, Billy. Who's your favorite this season?
My favorite is Ty. But I think that with the Super Idol and the way he showed himself in the immunity challenge where he beat Sydney, I think he could just take himself to the end. He doesn't need to rely on an alliance.
Yeah. You think that Ty is now going to move forward as a free agent like Ozzy did that other season that he was on?
Yeah, that other season. But unlike Ozzy, Ty is very likable.
Oh.
Zinger!
Ozzy
Cheap
defender.
shot.
Right. I've got a good question here. Brent Wolgamott wants to know, with this edit behavior, can Scott or Jason still win a jury vote?
No.
Wait, you're Natalie just
I
sending
would
a
vote
opinion.
for Jason if Jason played.
You got to get on the mic.
If Jason played the way he's playing and he makes it to the end and then he tells us the things he's done, and I would vote for Jason. I would have no issue voting for him.
Yes.
Except for that he's a racist, homophobic piece of shit.
Yeah. All right, come on. Okay, kids.
wouldn't be part of his speech.
Kids are here. Kids are here.
Yes, you are. That's exactly what you're supposed to do.
I mean, I would
Okay.
vote for Jason.
Scott, he reminds me a lot. I don't know if you guys know sports, but he reminds me a lot of Dennis Rodman and Beer Lambier, and that they take the cheap shots, but they justify it with the wins.
Okay.
And so he reminds me of that. If he could successfully argue that at the end, he might, but it depends on who he's sitting next to.
Okay. All right. Steven, what else do we need to do?
I got a few more questions. Fran?
Fran, you want to weigh in on this? You got anything to add? All right, come on up.
All right, Franny.
All right. I got a question. Is Evil Ty the greatest villain of all time?
It was a good heel turn.
Yes.
So Lita wants to know, Fran, and this is maybe good. What do you think about Julia's choice? Should she have voted with the guys or the girls like she did? Should she have gone with the guys or the girls?
I think she did the right thing because now she didn't vote out one of the guys, so she still has them on her side. But she also did what Aubrey wanted, so she's in a good position with both alliances. Seemed like a good move. I mean, I don't like her.
Yeah.
She's so adorable.
Why don't you like her? Why don't you
like Julia?
No,
Yeah.
you know what? I just didn't like the fact that she just flipped on the girls and went with Scott and Jason because I don't like them. So,
Yeah.
so she's tainted now. I'm sure she's lovely.
But I've been for a basically, a kid on the show.
No, she's doing amazing. I thought she was going to get voted out weeks ago.
Yeah.
I really felt like that she had a presence about her in terms of here's what I'm doing, and we said okay, maybe it wasn't great I gotta tell Ty's chicken's going everywhere. I gotta go tell Ty what's going on with the chicken. But I do think that she was playing a pretty aggressive round in this game.
Yeah, no, she did great. I mean, I totally agree with Steven. I think I can't believe she's 19. I mean, I was a lot older than that when I played Survivor.
Yeah.
And did not do nearly as well. So.
I'm impressed. Stephen, I have a question to poet Stephen Fishback.
Oh, wow.
Is the chicken an extended metaphor?
Is the chicken an extended metaphor?
And if so, for what?
Yeah, wow.
Is it a literary device planted by Mark Burnett and Ty?
Yeah, I think it is. It's for Ty's irredeemable goodness. Even the scenes where we saw Ty, we saw so much of Ty defending his actions this episode. Yeah, I did this thing, but here's all the reasons why I didn't like it, but I kind of had to. And in the scene when we saw Ty at his darkest, that was the scene with the chicken on his shoulder. And it was just a reminder, the chicken is still there, people. Don't worry.
Right. And just like Ty, who was busted looking for the idol on the first day of the game, that remarkably the chicken is still there.
Yeah, the chicken is still there. Yeah.
With no sign of going home.
Yeah.
Do you think if they eat the chicken, that's the episode where Ty goes?
Yes. Like E.T.
But every episode, right? Wasn't that Peter's? Peter was like, oh, I
Ty.
want chicken.
I actually can't believe the chicken is still alive.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't believe no one's killed that chicken.
Yeah. Eliza, why didn't they kill the chicken in Fans versus Favorites? Why'd the chicken make it all the way to the end of the game?
I have no idea. I wasn't there.
Okay. All right.
Thanks for rubbing it in. But
I thought you knew.
We had killed it sooner. Chet was very attached to the chickens. He was raising them, and they were like his babies. We did eat one or two of them, and they were delicious.
Okay.
So.
All right. We need to start figuring out a hashtag here. Billy, what's the hashtag for this podcast?
Wow. Hashtag 45. Geez, I've been hashtagging for a little while the douchebag apocalypse.
Nope, that's not it. Yeah.
Rob,
That's a hard pass, Billy.
how about chicken dinner?
Chicken dinner? You say thumbs up to that? Okay. All right. Chicken dinner for E.T. Ty. E.Ty. All right. So first off, thanks everybody for coming out to the show. You guys were amazing. Can I get somebody up here that knows the location of the after party? What's the name of that bar? St. Pat's, in between 45th and 46th?
No, 40.
5th and 6th Avenue. 46th Street. Okay. All right. So you guys got that. There's lots of people that know what's going on. First off, great job, Steven. So nice to have you back.
Thank you.
Even though
good to see you.
Steven said that the know-it-alls with Josh Wigler was not canon.
Not canon. Yeah.
Yeah. I say it was. Thanks so much to all of our great guests that were here out on the show tonight. We had so many great survivors. Thanks to all you guys who traveled also really far from all over.
Wait, where's the farthest?
Yeah, who came the furthest? Germany. Israel? Okay. Yeah, so thank you guys so much. We can't wait to do it again. Here's what's coming up on the podcast. Exit interview with Debbie. Coming. Hold on. We're not done yet. Exit interview with Debbie coming out on Thursday. We're going to be one day behind on the recap and the voicemail. So I'm going to talk to Richard Hatch on Friday morning about this episode. Voicemails with the great Eric Stein on Saturday. What would dreams do? That's what Eric Stein wants to know. With the Thai Idol. Also, check out Steven's People blog this week.
Yeah.
Who got the fishy?
Well, so that's my question. Who gets the fishy? No one was good. No, she was not good. She was fine. Chicken.
I say
Ty
give it.
gets it.
I give it to Aubrey.
I like Ty. Ty is a good one.
Bill's
Yeah.
right, Ty gets it.
Yeah.
I disagree on that. I don't know what Ty
You
did.
think Aubrey?
Aubrey gets it.
Yeah.
Aubrey's done.
Okay.
Aubrey just
All right.
got complete-
Anyway, you know what's a great.
Michelle gets it. Not a single person is targeting her. She's the ultimate winner.
That could
Steve
be.
says.
That really could be.
All right. And thanks so much to Caroline's on Broadway for hosting us here again. I love doing this, getting out to see everybody, doing it in person. Thank you guys so much. Take care, everybody. Drive home safely.